Welcome back to another episode of The Cycle. I'm Brandon Bordeau. Hope that you're enjoying these. Got a lot to dive into this upcoming week, including Kahnawake Minor Hockey. Of course, that's predominantly what we're going to be looking at for the rest of the year. Let's roll right into it, shall we, with the Adam A. Mohawks. Participating in the Can-Am shootout over the weekend. And they started things off with a 2-2 tie, against Osgood Richmond, and then followed that up by closing off their round robin, winning over Kingston and then over Gloucester, and making their way into the finals for a rematch against the Romans of Osgood Richmond. In the end, the Mohawks having to walk away with silver following a 3-1 loss, but silver medal is still nothing to sneeze at, and the Mohawks, who had not been able to win a game during the course of the season, come out of this tournament with their heads up high, winning a silver medal. And in that round-robin game against the Romans, they were down 2-0 with about 5 minutes to go. They came back to tie it up and actually hit posts in the final minutes, so they were that much closer to winning that game. Fortunately, silver medal will have to do, but again, there's no shame in winning a silver medal. Pee-wee Mohawks were really busy this past week. They had 3 games in a stretch of 4 days. We'll start off with the game played on Thursday night at the Sports Complex. Mohawks hosting the HRS Hawks. Kahnawake opening the scoring, taking a 1-0 lead. For the Hawks, ended up tying things up. Nua Diziani Daibo scoring for the Mohawks. But Wyatt Weldon scored for the Hawks to make it 1-1. Then a couple of goals in a row from Arakwahawe Tuax and Ruwara Haji Jacobs, upping the lead up to 3-1 as they made their way later on in the third period. HRS scoring a goal with about 4 minutes left. It was Justin Martinov who scored. But in the end, the Mohawks were able to hang on and hold off the HRS Hawks. Things got a little rough behind the HRS goal at the end, but the Mohawks nonetheless held on and got the win to punch them into the game on Saturday night, having won 2 in a row. And now this game, the Mohawks taking on the St. Martin Blizzard game in Bahornwa at Andre Richard Arena. Blizzard opened the scoring, getting one on a screenshot, which there's absolutely no way Mohawks netminder Sungwai Akwani Sabrera could have picked up. Mohawks trailing 1-0 entering the third when Kaysen Moses picked up a questionable penalty, which resulted in maybe the game break the Mohawks needed, because Arakwahawe Tuax tied the game 1-1, and then Ryder Norton 26 seconds later on the same penalty scored to put the Mohawks up 2-1. Scoring 2 short-handed goals on the same penalty kill. Rendier wrapping things up with about 4 minutes left, scoring to put the Mohawks up 3-1, and no more goals would be scored. So the Mohawks win their third in a row to get up to 3-1, beating the Blizzard by a final count of 3-1. That set us up for the game yesterday, the Mohawks and the Chattagee Barons. The Barons scoring halfway through the first period to take a 1-0 lead. They widen the gap up to 2-0 in the early portion of the third. Big thing here were the penalties. The Mohawks took 5 penalties. The St. Martin Barons took 0, and the Mohawks actually picked up a 10-minute misconduct at the end of the penalty, which will result in a 1-game suspension for one of the Mohawks players. Officiating was what many Mohawks called and considered to be a tough one for them to endure. Arakwahawe Tuax scoring for a third straight game as he made it 2-1 with about 3 minutes left to go. But in the end, they just weren't able to complete the rally as the Mohawks fall short by a final count of 2-1 to the Barons. Barons up to 4-2. The Mohawks falling to 3-4-1. They will have a home game scheduled for Saturday because the game that they were supposed to play on Sunday has now been rescheduled. They were supposed to play against the Valleyfield squad on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Instead, however, that game has been rescheduled for a date TBA. Adam C. Mohawks had 2 games this weekend. Let's start things off with the game that they played at the HRS Predators. This was a goaltenders duel. Kahnawake 3 breakaways in the game, unfortunately not able to score on any of the 3. And with about 11 minutes to go in the third period, the Predators finally scored as a puck just trickled in over the line, past the glove of netminder Wagahawagu Thomas. And then with 5 minutes to go, the Predators scored another. Kahnawake not able to get back as HRS shut out the Mohawks by a final count of 2-0. But Kahnawake didn't have a lot of time to hang their heads after the tough defeat, because they went into Vaudreuil-Dorion to take on the Vaudreuil Titans yesterday. The Mohawks had to play the first period with only 3 defensemen, and you know how difficult that could be, especially if you're playing for a longer period of time than most of the other players are anyway. Now, the Mohawks gave up the opening goal, and it was 1-0 Titans with about 11 minutes left to play when Kahnawake tied it up. Kirk Horn's wrist shot going upstairs, tying the thing up at 1-1. And the Titans, who only lost 1 game all season, end up being able to just tie this one up. Final score, Vaudreuil Titans 1, Kahnawake Mohawks 1. So the Mohawks get a tie after a tough 2-game road trip during the weekend. Kahnawake has a home game coming up on Saturday at the sports complex. Game time will be 11 o'clock. And now we change things up with the Pee Wee C's in action. The Mohawks on the road taking on HRS. This was Saturday morning. Ryder McCumber got things started for the Mohawks on the right foot with a wrist shot, which went into the back of the goal. 1-0 Mohawks. And then after that, however, the wheels just fell off. 4 penalties in the second period and a 6-0 run by the HRS Hawks to end the game. Hawks take it by a final count of 6-1. And then yesterday, back at home, taking on the Vaudreuil Titans, not so much better, as the Mohawks were not able to get one on the board, and they fell short by a final count of 6-0. Batme Mohawks at home taking on a very tough Soulange squad who had gone 7-2 prior to that game on Saturday afternoon. Funny thing happened in the first period of play. Kahnawake netminder Chaz Norton deemed to be playing with ineligible equipment, saying that he didn't have a neck guard. So Chaz had to come out while the Mohawks management looked for a goaltending neck guard, and Stone McGregor, in player gear only, went into the net. And Soulange got 2 power plays while Stone was in that goal, and Stone made 7 saves in player gear to keep Soulange off the board. But again, the penalties were the stories in this one. The Mohawks taking 6 minor penalties compared to just 2 for Soulange, and then the Singers scoring a couple of goals in the third period to put this thing away. Final score, Singers 3, Mohawks 0. Kahnawake will be on the road for the rematch coming up on Saturday. That'll be a 6 o'clock start. Midget B Mohawks, aka the U18Bs, going for another win, trying to get win number 5 in a row last night, taking on the Chateauguay Marquis. And in the late stages of the first period, Kahnawake opened the scoring, a shorthanded goal by Caston Daibo. And then later on, Roterdes Mentor shot one in off of a Chateauguay stick. The deflection put the Mohawks up 2-0. And afterwards, Martin Stacy let one go, which went in short side. Kahnawake went up by a score of 3-0. Penalties, once again, a story. The Mohawks taking 6 minor penalties in this game compared to just 1 for the Marquis. But the Mohawks were able to pull it off and win by a final count of 3-1. So Kahnawake has now won 5 in a row, taking this one by a final count of 3-1. The Marquis fall to 2-3-1. The Mohawks now 5 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie at the B level. And if you are looking for a place to go, the sports complex will definitely be the place, as the U18Bs, the aforementioned, look to win a victory number 6 in a row. They'll be at home against the HRS Hawks on Thursday. That'll be a 7 o'clock start. And then a quadruple header worth of games. Adam C's, followed by the Pee Wee C's, followed by the Adam A's, and then the Pee Wee A's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. 6 o'clock that day, the Bantam A's will be on the road. And, of course, before that, at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, we have what is novice hockey, the half ice. And that will be taking place as well, as our novice 2s, novice 3s, and novice 4s will be in action on Saturday. And the Mercier Mag Festival set to kick off this weekend as well. And the St. Martin Mag Festival, for those of you that are wondering, it's coming up after the winter break. It'll be on January 8th. That's when that tournament will start in St. Martin. So the Mercier Mag Festival and St. Martin Mag Festival coming up over the next 3 weeks' time. So thank you very much once again for joining us here on this rush, this blitz here on the cycle of Kahnawake Mohawks minor hockey sports, scores, and analysis. Don't forget, Thursday night, the Mohawks will be in action. The Midget B's will be at home against the HRS Hawks. 5 games grand total on Saturday, 3 games grand total on Sunday at the Kahnawake Sports Complex. Yawagoa for joining us here on the cycle. I'm Brandon Bordeau. On a Giwahi.